Welcome back. If you thought the Luigi Mangione case was going to quietly fade away after the initial shock, you were wrong. We just passed a massive milestone in January 2026 and things are heating up fast. We're talking about a potential federal death penalty case, a defense team accusing the U.S. Attorney General of a massive conflict of interest, and a trial date that keeps getting pushed further into the future. But the real story isn't just what's happening inside the courtroom, it's the crowd outside calling him a hero. Today, we're breaking down the January 9th hearing, the fight for the Mangione's life, and why this case is becoming a proxy war for the American healthcare system. Let's get into it. First, let's talk stakes. As of right now, Luigi Mangione is facing federal charges that could put him on death row. But his defense team, led by high-profile attorneys, is fighting tooth and nail to block that before a jury is even seated. In the hearing on January 9th, his lawyers dropped a bombshell argument. They are trying to get the specific murder by firearm charge thrown out. Why? Because that's a specific charge that allows the feds to seek the death penalty. But here's the spicy part. They are going after U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi personally. The defense is arguing she has a conflict of interest because her former lobbying firm had ties to UnitedHealthcare, the very company whose CEO Brian Thompson was unalived. They're painting a picture that this prosecution is political, that the system is protecting its own. Prosecutors, of course, are calling this meritless, but it's a smart strategy to feed the public narrative that the deck is stacked against him. If you're waiting for a verdict, don't hold your breath. Judge Margaret Garnett has signaled that jury selection might not even start until September 8th, 2026. And if the death penalty remains on the table, we're looking at a trial potentially starting in January 2027. That's if the death penalty remains on the table. Okay? Why the delay? It's the parallel track problem. Mangione is facing both state charges in New York and federal charges. Usually the state goes first, but the feds seem eager to jump the line. Plus, there are massive evidence fights happening, specifically regarding the search of his backpack when he was arrested in Pennsylvania. If the defense can get that evidence thrown out, the prosecution's case takes a massive hit. Now, look at the scene outside the courthouse this past week. You had supporters cheering, holding up signs, and framing Mangione not as a murderer, but as a martyr, a hero. This is the most fascinating part of this story. We have a guy accused of cold-blooded, premeditated execution, yet he's being treated by some like a folk hero. The Robin Hood narrative is strong. People are projecting their own trauma with denied claims and high premiums onto him. The defense knows this. When they argue that pretrial publicity has tainted the jury pool, they aren't just talking about people who think he's guilty. They know the entire country has an opinion on UnitedHealthcare. It's going to be a nightmare to find 12 impartial jurors who haven't battled an insurance company. So, where does this leave us? We have a defendant who is smiling in court, a prosecution seeking the ultimate punishment, and a public that is deeply divided on whether this was a crime or a correction. The next big date to watch is January 30th for the next federal status conference. But until then, the battle is going to be fought in the court of public opinion. I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think the conflict of interest argument against the Attorney General holds water? And honestly, do you think it's even possible to find an unbiased jury for this case? Don't forget to like and subscribe for updates as we track this trial all the way to 2027. This is What's the Tea Now, and I'll see you in the next one.
So this guy, his name's Luigi, and Luigi just unalived a man, and people love him for it. So Luigi's got a lot going for him. He was a valedictorian in his high school, he went to an Ivy League university, and he's generally a charming and friendly dude. And one day, he decides to move to Hawaii. I mean, he's in his 20s, he has a remote job, so why not? And there, Luigi learns to surf. Here's the thing though. Luigi has had bad back pain since he was a little kid. He actually has a condition called spondylolisthesis. And I guess all the surfing aggravates his spondylolisthesis and his back starts hurting like crazy. In fact, it's so bad that he's in bed for a week. And even after he recovers enough to get out of bed, the pain doesn't really go away. So most days, Luigi's just in pain and it sucks. So he does his research and he starts reading books about chronic back pain. And he does everything he can to help himself.